Hey there! Welcome to the Deadly Analysis Podcast. This is a short review and recommendation of the 2020 indie sci-fi horror film Synchronic by Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead. These are the same two people who created the 2017 horror film The Endless, which feels, in many respects, very similar to Synchronic. So the story follows two New Orleans night shift paramedics, Steve and Dennis, played by Anthony Mackie and Jamie Dornan, who begin investigating a very odd string of drug-related deaths. People are dying in very weird ways and under very bizarre circumstances after taking this new designer drug called Synchronic. This new drug does some very interesting things. I obviously won't spoil the film for you, but let's say that the world sort of seems to be opened up and overtaken by another environment. I'll just kind of leave it at that. That's as vague as I can get. And this glimpse into this other place actually has physical consequences for the user of the drug. They can be physically impacted by this thing when it happens. And so while these two paramedics are going from call to call, seeing the aftermath of this drug, we discover that one of the paramedics, Steve, has learned that he has a brain tumor that is directly adjacent to his pineal gland. What a strange place to have a tumor in a movie about other realities and hallucinations. So Steve has like 6-ish weeks to live, basically. Things get even worse when one of the other paramedics' daughter, Dennis's daughter, completely vanishes from a party after taking Synchronic. So this is the context of the film, a chaotic night of otherworldly glimpses from two people who are clearly wrestling with their own demons. I absolutely loved this movie. I know quite a few critics didn't, but I would say I liked it more than The Endless. I'm probably an outlier there. Like most reviewers seem to hail The Endless as this much superior film, but I think I like this movie more because I tend to gravitate towards horror films that push the idea of thinking about your own death. Horror films are so often about like how we die, the way we die, and I think that gets old kind of fast and it doesn't really produce a kind of deep, long-lasting fear for most people. But digging just slightly deeper and being confronted with what death is and what it means is itself its own kind of horror. It's a contemplative kind of horror in some ways. And there is this real contemplative aspect in this movie, and I really like that. Steve's got a date with the Reaper, right? And that reality informs a lot of his decision-making in this movie. It frames his curiosity to understand this synthetic drug that's taking over New Orleans, and ultimately its ethereal and otherworldly effects. Like The Endless, though, this is a thoroughly Lovecraftian film. And because that phrase gets thrown around all the time, let me explain what I mean by that. Lovecraftian horror is a subgenre of horror that emphasizes a kind of cosmic dread, right? So it's like when you're laying your head on the ground one night and you look up at the night sky and you see thousands and thousands of stars out there, the light of which has traveled thousands of light years to finally reach your eyes. So you see these giant balls of fire up there, maybe one or two planets as you're laying your head back. And so eventually your mind starts to wander about how some of these planets and stars have existed before us and probably will after us. You start to feel a real sense of insignificance in light of the mass scale of the cosmos and how much of it is still unknown to us, to our puny little brains. There's like this sea of nothingness up there, this giant expanse of void that sort of puts you into perspective, really. So maybe we could couch it as a kind of despair, a cosmic dread and despair that the universe does not care about you and that you're not even a blip on the radar in terms of the cosmos. So it's that feeling, that sort of feeling, even if it lasts for a moment, that is captured, placed in a bottle, and spread throughout much of H.P. Lovecraft's work. And it's an exceedingly difficult task to put that into cinema. There are very few good Lovecraftian horror films, in my opinion. And while this movie is far from perfect, I think it actually does a good job of making you feel that same sense of insignificance, that dread. So there's mystery, there's cosmic horror, there's an emphasis on time, perspective. Definitely worth a watch, in my opinion. If you saw the movie, if you saw Synchronic, let me know your thoughts below. Let me know what you thought about this movie versus The Endless. Which one did you like more? Aaron Moorhead and Justin Benson are making some good movies, so I'm curious to see what you guys think about this film in relation to their other ones. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.